Hi, I'm Brett Parker, multimedia specialist for the National Provisioner. Ajinomoto Foods North America recently announced the appointment of Dave Gardner as President and Chief Executive Officer. Today, he joins us to speak on a variety of topics, including frozen food categories, global flavors, and the rich cultural history of Ajinomoto Foods. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Frozen food is one of the few grocery categories still growing right now. Why do you think consumers are turning more towards frozen meals and snacks, especially Asian inspired options?
Right. Great question. We see it as a really robust growing category. Frozen foods offers three or four important things for the consumer. Um, One, the very high level of quality. We can provide a really great experience for the consumer. Convenience, obviously, so you can bring something from your freezer and have a really good meal in just a few minutes. Value, because the way that we organize our manufacturing and the way we procure our raw materials, we can produce high quality products at a lower cost than a consumer could make for themselves. But I would say most importantly, we can provide a very unique experience, no different than in a restaurant, but in a person's home. And we do that by understanding trends, working with great chefs, working with our R&D team to create a really great food experience that people can have at home. And specifically around the sort of Asian inspired category, this is a growing category for a couple reasons. Number one, it's you can get some more sort of unique flavor experiences through those products. We can offer, say, more balanced or a healthier serving by the ingredients that we're using. Um, but I think the biggest driver here is that the younger demographics are looking for different experiences, and the Asian categories is broad portfolio offers a lot of different types of meals with different flavors, different kind of delivery in terms of mouthfeel, etc. And we can do that all through the frozen food aisle.
Ajinomoto operates in both restaurants and retail grocery. What does that dual perspective tell you about American eating habits and how they're changing?
Mm. It's it does really kind of recognize that people sort of blend those experiences, and they're in different types of restaurants more frequently. It's a bigger part of people's food consumption. Um, they like the diversity that you can experience in from all the different types of restaurants. But then transitioning that back into the home, if you can bring those experiences back in the homes, you can provide that same experience, but with the value and convenience. For us, it actually provides a really strong, unique business environment because we're selling into both uh, CPG and into the restaurant, and so we get sort of early understanding of what some of the trends are. We're working with the operators and some really great chefs. We can see what some of those trends are early. Um, it can inform our R&D team, which then can introduce and test products in the restaurant environment. And then those ones are successful, we can bring them quickly into the grocery store. So it gives us that, I think, multiple ways of understanding what the trends are, almost real time, because we can see what's happening in the restaurants and then bring that back into the business. And then from just an overall business strategy, it actually makes us pretty resilient as well. So if you have more people eating at home, like we saw in COVID, so the frozen food market strengthens, the restaurant business could be soft. You come out of COVID, and then there's a very strong demand in the restaurant space, and so we can shift our production assets to better fill those needs. So it makes our business more resilient as well. So that adds to our commercial strength.
Your brands are tied closely to global flavors and diversity driven foods. Why do you think consumers are becoming more adventurous with Asian flavors today compared to, say, 5 or 10 years ago?
Right. As I said, I think it's just the changing demographics where people generally are looking for different experiences. and it's in lots of attributes or areas of your life. But in the food area, you can explore food from all parts of the world, um, certainly in restaurants, and companies like ourselves can deliver that into the home as well. I think the Asian inspired category is appealing because, as I said, generally sort of healthier ingredients and a more interesting food experience. Different flavors can be offered. Um, for Ajinomoto specifically, we incorporate what we call the umami flavor attribute, and it's designated as the fifth uh, flavor or sense in that it brings different or brings out the flavor of other ingredients as well. And our company actually developed that technology more than 100 years ago, and it's something that is really part of our legacy and how we can use that technology in lots of different things that we do to grow the company. Um, the other part of that legacy tied to the business is just our access to sort of technology and capabilities that's global. So we're part of a bigger entity that gives us access to researchers. We've got over 300 researchers around the world. Many of them are PhDs. So we have sort of best in breed technologies. We have different food experiences from around the world. So multiple food businesses, and we can bring products or ideas from other parts around the world, and again, then deliver them back into the U.S. consumer. So it gives us really sense of what are the world trends, and then what are some of the opportunities we can translate to the U.S. grocer.
Now, you spent years leading supply chain and operations before becoming CEO. How does that background shape the way you think about innovation and growth differently than from a traditional marketing focused CEO?
Mm. Great question. Yeah, I have spent a long career in operations and supply chain. Uh, I think what I've learned through those experiences is really focused on two areas. To say what operational excellence. So how do we put together good strategies and execute them effectively? And then secondly, focusing on the customer experience as well. So how do we take the work that we're doing in our business and make sure that it's meeting our customers and consumers' needs as effectively as possible. And from an pure operations perspective, safety, quality, productivity, cost, service, that's very traditional. But it's the same management techniques and the same kind of leadership skills that are equally successful in the commercial space as well. So I see my role working with a really strong team here of both sales and marketing organization, as well as our R&D and innovation teams, to help strengthen some of their processes and provide stronger connectivity with all of the other aspects of the business, so that if we go to launch a new product, we're doing that in a very effective way, meaning we understand what the consumer's needs are. We're working backwards to redesign the product and all of the elements of the execution, so that when we do to launch, it's done in a very effective way, or fully meeting the consumer's needs without any sort of hiccups along the way. So it's to answer your question, I think it's just leveraging what has worked really well for me in operations for the years, and helping the rest of the business focus our limited resources on meeting the consumer's needs as quickly as possible.
Ajinomoto's parent company has more than a century of history in Japan. How do you balance that legacy and expertise with the tastes and expectations of today's American consumers?
It's again a great question. I think it's one of our core strengths. We're a large business unit, but a part of a very large company, and so that gives us access to a tremendous amount of resources. We have a lot of autonomy, but we at the same time can leverage capabilities from around the world to better grow our business here. As I mentioned, access to a large number of researchers. We're essentially a technology company. We approach problems from a scientific perspective. Um, and so we understand how to design our foods that make them the most flavorful or most interesting experience, and then ultimately produce them in the most efficient way. Um, we can leverage opportunities that have been explored or successful in other parts of the world, products from other parts of the world that we can import, or we can replicate the formula very quickly in the U.S. Um, I think it's that deep legacy though around, again, just executing very effectively, having a lot of understanding of what the customer and the consumer is really looking for, being very respectful of their needs, and then executing in a very effective way.
Fascinating. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Dave Gardner of Ajinomoto Foods, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And congratulations on your new appointment.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for watching.